I am Dr. Lynn.
I'm Oprah Davidson.
I am Gideon.
I am Mark.
And
We
are
BAKERpedia
influencers.
Hello bakers, my name is Mark Florka and I'm a BAKERpedia influencer. Today I want to tell you about Soulange mills. In Quebec they are also known as Moulin Soulange, which is French for Soulange mills. They are agriculture raisonnaire, which means like to process agriculture with a reason. It's kind of the next step of and similar to sustainability programs, and they are specialty flour designers. So they work closely with farmers, and they produce a lot of different interesting specialty flours. The two I'm going to be showing you a little bit about today are the T65 Signature, which is their strong baker bread flour. And it has got a 300 falling number, 65 ash, and really good mixing tolerance and everything. It's fantastic. And mixed together with that, I'm using today their Tortillas. This is a farine de mai tortillas, which is a roasted whole grain corn flour. And I've prepared a number of different things for us to take a look at. Going to give you a quick shot of the whole spread before I go into each item individually. So here you can see we have a number of different things prepared for you that we're going to talk about. Tortillas, flour tortillas, corn tortillas, biscuits with corn, a 20% corn flour sandwich bread, and a 10% corn flour whole grain bread. Let me tell you a little bit more about each of these. So let me tell you a little bit about the biscuit first. So now this biscuit will perhaps look a little bit flat to you. That's because that's how I make my biscuits here at home. We make them smaller just for little samplers, and cut them in half and put some protein and gravy and things on it. But they did rise up nicely because these are basically half of normal height. They were cut half normal height, and you can see they're nice and flaky. I did a little bit of lamination, and you can see the crust inside. And this is with 20% of the roasted corn flour, and then 80% flour is the signature T65. It's still nice and tender, nice soft crumb, and I love the beautiful roasted corn flavor that comes through. So it's not corn chippy like like these snacks or things like that. It's a really nice rounded roasted flavor of the corn. So, and then the next item I have for you is tortillas. I made some flour tortillas, and here I kind of went overboard on purpose to see what we could get. And so this is a flour tortilla, and so this would be a whole grain tortilla, because this is 50% of the flour is corn flour. And I made these a couple days ago. They're cracking just ever so slightly, but they have nice texture to it, and they've opened up and puffed up nicely. This worked really well, and so there is no wheat gluten added to these. This is just straight ahead 50% of the roasted corn flour and 50% T65. So you can still get plenty of flavor if you did 10 or 20%, but I wanted to see how well it performs, and it still gives us good flexibility and so on. And then next I made some corn tortillas, and again this is 50% of the roasted corn together with 50% masa flour. And these have turned out quite nicely as well. They're just hand rolled. I don't have a tortilla press, but there again, they're nice and flexible for doing tortillas. I am looking forward to actually cutting these into points and then deep frying them quickly or toasting them as chips to see how that comes out, because I think these are nice and thin and they have that nice roasted corn flavor again. It's just it just adds another dimension to flavor instead of being just a plain corn masa, you know, the straight corn flavor. And so then I also did with a 20% corn, is 20% of the roasted corn. I made what I call a sandwich bread. So I got a nice break on this, beautiful break, and that is just a split break. So that I split the loaf with a rod, proof it upside down, and then bake it on the hearth. And it just splits open nicely like that. So there's good strength, right? And it's a nice even grain with a little bit of open cells and stuff, nice and soft and moist. So you see my high-tech texture analyzer, as we've talked about before, but it bounces back nicely. You can see the indentation it comes with, so it's got a nice spring to it, and again, that beautiful corn aroma. It's just lovely. It's just delicious. And from that have also made a crown loaf, so a typical artisan bread. So you can see there again, it rises up nicely, gives me a nice loaf, nice decoration, nice appearance, and another one of my effort attempts there with the BAKERpedia logo. This turned out nicely. It's a very nice bread. This would look great on any bakery shelf. And then again, this is made with the 20% of the roasted corn flour and worked really well. So no other additions, no gluten added. There's a slight increase in water absorption, but it's not huge, right? And then I did some whole grain loaves, right? And so I wanted to make a whole grain loaf. So this is 49% of the T65, which is the white flour, the bread flour, and you can see that lovely break. We even got just a little bit of shred here too on the side, so there is some strength there. And this was just a scored break on top in a large loaf pan. The interior crumb looks really nice, and so this is essentially what you could also call a 40% whole wheat bread, but it classifies as whole grain, or qualifies as whole grain, because we have total 51% whole grain. And just by adding that 10% of corn, we get a little bit lighter crumb, a nice yellow to it. Doesn't show up as well on the camera, but it has a nice sort of yellowish hue to it. And again, that aroma, and it looks more like a sliced white than it does like a whole wheat bread for, you know, the kids who don't like the brown stuff, right? And it has good texture, good volume, and turned out just lovely, really nice. This would also be well suited for other things like muffins, or even sweet doughs or sweet paste, like for cookies and things like that. It would add another texture, flavor dimension, mostly on the flavor side. It is about 7% protein and 7% dietary fiber. So it's not quite as high as, say, a whole wheat flour, but it's still adding good nutrition and not just empty calories, because it's a whole grain corn flour that has been roasted. So that's it from me. This BAKERin video was sponsored by Soulange Mills, the specialty flour designers. My name's Mark Florka, and I'm a BAKERpedia influencer.